Hi, my name is Rachel Winnings, and my speech is about the required seatbelt safety in PA. I just think it's a really important thing for everyone's safety and everyone's lives if they are going to be in a vehicle at any time or driving. I definitely think it needs to be updated and changed, and 100% it needs to be enforced more than it is. Almost 3 years ago, I was in a pretty bad car accident myself. I was in the backseat passenger side of the vehicle when a drunk driver ran a red light and hit our vehicle. It hit more towards the passenger side and the back of the car more, so it hit me pretty dead on, and I was knocked unconscious when my head smacked against the window. When I came to, my head and a little bit of my upper body was kind of laying out of the window onto the top of the car, and I tried to get up, but my arm was stuck in the door, encased in all the plastic. When I finally got to the hospital, I feel like I was going through hours and hours of testing. I was run through the MRI machine twice, but besides the bruises and cuts from the glass, I only had minor injuries. I had a concussion and a pulled ligament in my arm. The doctors came to me and told me how lucky I was, and they told me that the injury should have been more serious, but I was wearing my seatbelt, and that's what saved me. Without putting my seatbelt on, I don't know where I would be today or what injuries I would have gotten from that. The question I have for you is, ask yourself, how many people do you know that have gotten in a car accident? Do you know if they were wearing their seatbelt or what their injuries were? Those two things correlate immensely when it comes to car accidents. Were they as lucky as I was? In Pennsylvania, the seatbelt law requires only drivers and front seat passengers 18 years or older to wear their seatbelts. Backseat passengers are not required. Weird, right? The likelihood of getting in at least one car accident during your lifetime is 80%. In 2018, there were a total of 129,000 reported car crashes, and those are only the reported ones. People tend to think that if they're just going for a short drive, they don't need to wear their seatbelt. Nothing will happen in a 2-minute drive. But most accidents actually occur within 3 miles of a person's home. I know my car accident occurred within 4 to 5 miles of my home, so it was still pretty close. Don't wait to wear your seatbelt until you've experienced a car crash, because it might be too late for you then. Without a seatbelt, you might not live through it, and you don't know how serious your injuries would be. In 2018, there were approximately 1,200 total fatalities due to car accidents in Pennsylvania. More than 50% of those people were not wearing their seatbelts. Could you imagine how much lower that number would be if more people were actually wearing their seatbelts? Imagine if all of them were wearing their seatbelts. That would be a much lower number. Wearing a seatbelt reduced the risks of fatal injury by 45% for front seat passengers and drivers, and by 73% for backseat drivers. With such a large reduced risk rate, wouldn't you think that backseat passengers would be obligated to wear their seatbelts? I would. Maybe changing the law won't make that big of a difference. People are just going to do what they want to do, right? However, that's not actually true. Studies have shown that enforcing seatbelt laws with punishment of a ticket or a fine actually increases the rate of people buckling up when driving or getting into a vehicle. Some may argue that seatbelts only cause injury and fatality and that they do more harm than good, but that's only when they're worn incorrectly. Seatbelts need to be adjusted to go directly over your shoulder and across your chest. If they're too high, they can go around your neck and cause injury, and if they're too low or you tuck them under your arm, that can also be a whole nother issue and cause injuries. They need to be adjusted and fit it correctly to the person that's in the vehicle. Not wearing a seatbelt is not just a nonsensical thing to do, but it is selfish as well. You are not only affecting your life by not wearing a seatbelt, but by putting your life in danger, it affects your family's and friends' lives as well. Imagine if something happened to you, how they would feel, what they would do about it. Seatbelts are a basic and simple part of your safety. Why fight something that could save your life? Yeah, maybe they're uncomfortable, and maybe they're not cool to wear, but what is a little discomfort when it comes to your life, when it comes to your safety? This is a simple choice that could affect your life forever. Seatbelts have been the reason 15,000 lives have been saved, and this includes mine. Don't make the mistake of not wearing a seatbelt and lose your friends and family during an accident. I encourage all of you to make passengers in your car or in any car you get into to wear their seatbelts. This ensures yours and others' safety in a vehicle. No one wants to live with that guilt of not making sure someone is safe by wearing their seatbelt in your car. Thank you.